What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fomo Factory. If you are a crypto investor, so not a trader, but an investor, and you want to stay here for the long term because you know, or you might need some conviction that in the long term, crypto or just Bitcoin will make you money, then I make this video for you. I would like to discuss in what my opinion will happen to the crypto market in the coming months and years. So it's not really for the short term, although I can give you my outlook maybe a little bit, but that's all up to yourself. At least it's not for this video. But I really would like to discuss about where could Bitcoin go? You know, what's my price prediction? I talked about that a little bit more, but also what will happen in the meantime, and you know, how can you make the most out of that? So if you like that kind of content, subscribe to the channel if you will. I'm working on this for 3 months now. I made like 130 videos. I'm here every day. So join the club. Feel free to, you know, take that like button and smash it one more time, please, because, you know, that shows YouTube that people think this is interesting, and it shows other people as well that, you know, crypto is still there. We still talk about crypto. You watch this video, so you will probably do very fine in the next bull run. But I also try to reach the people that don't watch these videos in the first place, right? And that's kind of hard. So a little like would definitely help. Now, let's go take a look at the Bitcoin market today. Well, today, this video is shot one day on forehand. So for today, it's not that relevant, the price that you see. But for the longer term, this is quite interesting. Now, what do I see when I look at this chart? Well, first, and I talked about this more, but we got, you know, the bear market started here, right? In November 2021. That's, well, at least where the top was. We got a rejection right there. We came down pretty fast and pretty hard. We tried to reclaim that level. We got rejected again. And we came down way harder after that. And after that happened, we went into a sideways period, right? Where you would have thought like, okay, where I was pretty convinced in first sight that, you know, the bottom for Bitcoin might be in. Plus, we broke this diagonal trend line right here, right? So that was change of trend. So this was looking pretty good, but it also looked a lot like 2018, right? We came down quite a lot, and from the moment the sideways movement started, you might have thought like, okay, the bottom is in. And then you get that some kind of an unexpected crash that here nobody expected that, of course. And now more people compare this bear market to the 2018 bear market, and they might expect this drop. I would like to say, though, this is not the 2018 bear market, of course. It's the 2022 bear market, and this one will be different than what we had here, although the similarities are pretty crazy. But, you know, this is, in my opinion, kind of where we are right now. Not saying that this extra downfall will happen, but when it comes to time, this could definitely be where we are. And if that's the case, yeah, here we went from November till May. We went sideways, basically, until we finally started going back up again, right? So, yeah, it kind of makes sense as well with something else that I would like to say. And that's quite interesting, and therefore that's the reason how I can give you my Bitcoin price prediction as well, when things are likely, you know, to happen. So let me put a line right here. I'll come back to that because these vertical lines are very important for this video. But for now, like, yeah, we went sideways. We had that move. We had that move down. This is not nearly the move we had in 2018, right? This was a 25% weekly candle. But in 2018, after that, we got basically another one, which brought us down 50%, right? Will we get another 25% weekly candle from here? That will put Bitcoin at around $12,000. It's not unthinkable that that might happen. To be completely honest, I'm starting to see more and more reasons why that's definitely possible. Because yes, we can look at all the bottom indicators that went off and say like, okay, the bottom is in. Clearly, more than half of the bottom indicators were wrong, right? So how much can we really trust that? Purely, if we don't even look at the technicals, if we don't even look at, you know, support levels, resistance levels, the macro was not really good. It's not really good. But Bitcoin was holding up pretty well. But now that something bad happened in the crypto space, we really start to see the result of everything combined, right? And you know, it's only a matter of one little thing that brings us some bad news again, and we are going down pretty easily, in my opinion, because there is not a lot of support, and it could definitely be that around next week we will be sitting at 13.5K, right? So keep that in mind, keep that as a possibility, and be open, even if you are a bull, like I'm bullish long term. But it's in crypto, it's kind of hard to listen to the things that you do not want to hear. But that's what you gotta do, right? It's in life in general. But you know, if you are too much exposed to crypto, if you have too little cash, you do not want to hear that we might go down more. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible, right? So please be open to both scenarios. Although that's not what this video is about. What I want to show you is this. I want to show you a couple of things. Some things are already said, but also for the people that already watched that video, still, this one might be pretty interesting for you. So these blue lines, these are the Bitcoin halvings, right? We had the halving in July 2016. We had the Bitcoin halving in May 2020. And we will have the next halving at, you know, around May, depends on the hash speed, 2024. So that's in 1.5 years from now. Halvings are big events. It's very simple. It's a supply shock. It has an effect. The effect is less and less and less because we go, I don't know the exact numbers, but we go from 30 Bitcoin to 15 Bitcoin. So that's a difference of 15 Bitcoin. But then we go from 15 to 7.5, 7.5 to 3.75, you know. So it's a slightly less difference though. But then again, it's still half of the impact, right? So if we look, what I noticed is this, and this halving, like I said, was in July 2016. So if I go to July 2015, around that area, that's where the interesting stuff happens. Why is that? Well, look, and this one is slightly off. Here we go. We have a bear market, like this is in 2014, but this is just the same stuff as that we have right now, right? We have a bear market, go down. We have a sideways period of like a few months, half a year, give or take. And then a year usually until now, all the time, a year, give or take, before the next Bitcoin halving, you see what Bitcoin does, right? Bitcoin pumps around 4x. Right, we went here, we went from, yeah, if you take this low, $160, we went all the way up to, well, $800, give or take. But here it did a 4x before the halving. Coincidence that also happened right here? I don't know, because here as well, we were sitting at, well, $3,000, right? Here we went up to $14,000, give or take. This was a year before the halving, and therefore I say around, give or take, a year. It's not that like someone sets a timer and that everybody is massively gonna buy everything then. Like here, it was slightly, you know, more than a year. Right, so here we really started going up in March 2019, and here in May 2020 we had the halving, right? But we have seen a nice run. Like if you bought here, you are already, you know, 4x your money on just Bitcoin. All right, so that, again, now we have the next halving planned, like I said, around May 2024. If I just, and you could argue like, okay, I know where you're going, like then in May 2023, we should go up. Yeah, that's exactly my point. And yeah, we have, no, the macro right now. I don't see FTX falling and Luna crashing and all that as something exceptionary, because in every bear market there was big, massive news which caused that to be a bear market in the first place. But yeah, I know Bitcoin never seen a, you know, macro bear market and these conditions. Although I do not think that this will go on beyond the next halving, right? Things will get better, I think, around next year. All right, so that's just my opinion. Now, by the way, this is totally off topic, but look how we, by the way, got rejected from this diagonal and we now made it perfect support. So this is a good sign. This is for the bulls. This is good, right? But what could happen right now? Well, let me remove that one. Yeah. So what's usually the case? What happens? You know, a year before the halving is where we go up. What happens before that, right? We have like this downwards trend, and then we go sideways, and then now in this case we have half a year until the year before the halving. If you still follow me, it's kind of what we had here as well, right? We dumped exactly here in November, like the exact same date. It's insane. And then here as well, you know, around half a year, slightly less, we went sideways. And then we started going up. How was that in the halving before that? Well, this was a longer bear market though. But here we went down. We went sideways as well from January to August. So this was a longer period. You know, these 8 months, the other one was 3 months, but you know, give or take half a year. Right? We went sideways basically, and you know, $160 to 320, 2x, back down, 2x, back down. Like there was less liquidity back then. That's not probably what we're going to see right now. It's not that we now go to 30K back to, you know, maybe we will, but I don't expect that. But basically, in the big scheme of things, we go sideways, right? Then we are a year before the halving, and Bitcoin, you know, not parabolic. Well, not as parabolic as the bull run itself, but still pretty parabolic. But, you know, good, slow grind up, right? So that's kind of as well my expectation for what we might see right now, right? And I know that this is not talking about, again, macro and all that stuff that's going on right now. These are purely statistics that I'm talking about right here, right? Because if you want to predict something, you have to have information, you have to have statistics and numbers and charts. And that's all we can go off here, right? So that's exactly what we're doing. So what might happen is something like this. We go sideways, we go down. Is this the last move downwards? No, we can do this. And we can go sideways for a long time. And what's quite funny is that if we pull up this one, then you see exactly, let me download it for you guys. Then you see exactly kind of that is what we are doing, right? We go down, we go sideways, we have a hard fall down again, and then we go sideways. And this also might be that we are here, like we go down, sideways, down, and we go a little sideways again, last drop, and then slowly starting to go back up, right? This is basically a sideways movement. This is not a drastic move down or anything, right? It's kind of where we are right now. So this might happen. And then it might be the case that we finally, from that point, start to go up, right? How much can we go up, though? We have a year before the halving until the halving. What happened in the past? What happened between that area? Well, what happened is we didn't went back to the all-time high in this halving, right? We had the all-time high at $1,100. Here we had a very big move up, but we went from 160 to $800. So we didn't reach the previous all-time high there. We did a 4x though. Time after that, we had the all-time high here, $20,000. Maybe you remember if you were there, or if you read charts. Here as well, we went up from $3,000 all the way to 13, 14, right? We went down a lot as well, by the way. That was crazy, this period. Well, we went up, but we didn't went to the all-time high. Also, we came close. It's not even close. But we went near the all-time high, but we didn't get there. Right? It was off by, here, we had to go with another 40%, right? In this period, we had to go another 50%, 40, 50% still, right? So what might expectations might be that when the next Bitcoin halving is that we will go up, right? We will go up from this point, but we won't reach a new all-time high compared to other runs, right? We might see like something like around 40K, give or take. Maybe we go to $40,000. Like, and that's definitely chart-wise, it's also pretty possible. Like, if we really start that move back up, and we have to look at where the big resistances are, then you'll see that around 40K is kind of a level, right? Like, it's not perfect, never, but we had resistance here, we had a lot of resistance here, we had support here, we had a little support here, we had a lot of stuff going on right here. And you can put it, you know, you can put it here, you can put it here. Therefore, I have to not set it at the weekly, but around that level, right? Maybe 42 where it is right now makes more sense, right? A lot of resistance, support, resistance, whatever. So that's in my expectation what might happen, that we do whatever right here, right now. We might go down again, yeah, and we see the bottom, right? Well, eventually we will see the bottom. We go sideways for a long time until April, March, maybe July, well, June, May, around that area, Q2. And that's the depressing phase as well, right? Like everybody feels like shit, it's gone and it's not going up and it's not moving and things start to fall apart and you're not making any money really. Like, yeah, you can take these short-time shorts or longs, but market is not really doing anything, right? In the meantime, though, remember a couple of things. This is where good projects are being born. This is where people feel like, okay, we can't raise anything right now. We can release a project, but you know who's going to invest in new projects? We cannot really do anything right now except build, right? The best projects were always born in the bear market, right? So keep that in mind. Your job here is to educate yourself, to read into things, to dollar cost in the right projects that you have found, because this is the accumulation phase right here. You can accumulate on this way up right here as well, but you know, yeah, okay, you probably still make gains, but I think this is the period where we are now entering the phase where we should accumulate. Your job is to prepare for that and to actually do that. And I can't speak for you and I can't tell you how easy or hard it is, but if it's all possible, you know, get a second job or anything. It's what I'm gonna do as well. Like if you really want to go, if you're really in crypto and you feel like I want to make it with crypto, and now is the now is the chance. We will have this chance again, but that will probably last another 4 years from now, right? I mean, these are the cycles so far. And who knows, maybe the bear markets aren't that bad by then because, you know, more money in crypto, more people believe in it, crypto matures, right? You should look at every bear market like it's your only chance. And now it's kind of your only chance. So if you really want to go for it, look around your house. Look around like, oh yeah, I have a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox. I can sell one of these, if not both. Like, don't sell your house, but if you really want to go for it, try to adjust your life as well. Like, okay, what do I not need? What do I not really need right now? Because every dollar right now will, well, not the exact number, but will be 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 at the top of the next bull run, right? So if you think of it, like, okay, if I look at it like that, I can now sell my PlayStation for $3,000. Wouldn't you do that? So keep that in mind. So this is kind of my overall expectation. You can remind me of this when the bull run happened, like if I was completely wrong or a little wrong, or if I was completely right or a little right, I don't know. This is kind of my expectation for what's about to happen. At least the macro picture, the big picture right here. Then It's getting more fun though, because here we don't have a new all-time high yet. So all-time high could take, you know, 1.5 years later, and we're not even there yet. God damn it. Yeah, that's what bear markets do. You don't get instant rich there. In the bull market, it's really easy to make money, and then we have new problems, taking profits, keeping it safe, well, all that kind of stuff. I will give you my experience by then, but you know, for now, it's not worth it to talk about that. And sorry for the chart being like some kind of a painting by how's that painter called? I don't even know. Whatever. Anyway, then we have the halving, right? These blue lines again are the halvings. What happened in previous halvings? Well, this halving right here wasn't, you know, we had the halving and not much happened, right? We had the halving, and you know, it's just some kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news event when it comes to the hype. Like people buy up to the halving and then figure out like, oh, it doesn't have an instant, an instant effect, so fuck that, and people get out a little bit maybe, right? But the halving, you know, it's not like an instant effect like the ETH merge or something like that. It's for the long period of time. It's a good thing, right? So what happened here? We had the halving, and we let me put another line right there since it's all messy anyway. We really didn't do anything like right here until we were around this level. So let me make that one yellow to separate it. So this was from July to October, right? So July, September, October. So 2 months, not really anything. And then we finally started to get that this is parabolic. Like this is the fun stuff in crypto, right? And you will be there. If you watch this video, you will be there, right? But I just like the only thing you now have to do is not give up, and then you will. And that's euphoric, man. This is really the fun stuff. Also very stressful. Like, yeah, I have a 5x. Should I sell? Like, if it goes down, I regret not selling my 5x. But then again, if I not sell and or if I do sell and it does a 50x, I feel bad as well. So these are like these luxury problems for then. Anyway, next halving, we had it here. This one took a little longer. Like this halving, like also not much happened right here, right? We had the halving and we went sideways up till this period right here. So. And this is where we started going up, right? Really parabolic was here, but this is already where we started going up. I mean, we went from like $8,000 to $12,000. That's a good move. It was from May to July, so that's also 2 months, right? So, and I'm not saying like this is very easy, right? This is basically just looking what happened before, and if we draw it out, we can calculate what could happen right now. I'm not saying history will repeat. That's not how it works. But I am saying statistics show us that this is around the average what we could expect so far, and there's no reason for me to believe that somehow this is now not happening anymore. Like there are no signs that this is like so far this entire cycle is doing exactly the same as any other cycle, even though we are in the macro. Like this bear market so far, and that's pretty good, this bear market so far is the best bear market we had, while the macro is looking worse than it ever has been in any other Bitcoin bear market. So what does that say? Bitcoin is pretty strong. That's all I can say about it, right? So, and that strongness that will show us great results in the bull market. So let me remove this. So that's what I kind of expect, like that we will go a little sideways then from here. Nothing much happens, and then we will start going up, because every time after that we have these insane parabolic moves. Now and then it's the question like, okay, when will we top out? Well, the questions are, when will we top out, right? And how much will we top out at? Let me put it like this. That's not predictable. Like we can make a nice wild guess like we do all the time right now, but really predictable it isn't, right? So please keep that in mind though. But you know, I just want you to know it's all speculation, right? But, and I taught you, like, if you watch my videos, you know this, so I'm not going to repeat this too much, but if you, like, this is what I just checked out. Like, okay, let's start with let me start with when will we top out, right? And that's very simple. Bitcoin had its all-time high November 2013. Cool, thank you. Bitcoin here had its all-time high December 2017. So 4 years later. Here, Bitcoin had its all-time high November 2021. Again, 3 times kind of trend, right? 3 years later. And pretty much exactly. So we can say that, okay, well, then in that case, it's very likely that we top out November, December 2025, right? So this is where we probably end up, 2025. Right, so that's November 25 here. This period, not the height, not the price, but the period, right? This is where we, based on this, see our new all-time high. Now we know when the all-time high, we know what happens before that. Again, based on this, like my expectations, not what's going to happen. Now the question is, how high can we get? And that's also, you know, we can also calculate that based on what we are talking about right now. Because what I checked out is this. Bitcoin, and let me do this again. And sorry for the mess on the chart. I hope you still follow this, right? We were at the lows, you know, and it's all give or take right now, all right? Price range. We were at the lows. This was the first cycle. 23x. Then we had our low right here at $160, $170. All right. Stick with me, please. Don't get bored. Well, give or take, right? It's not exact. This is a 230x, by the way, not a 23x. 230x. All right. 130x. Cool. We had the low here, which was 3,215. So 3,300, give or take. 19x. And I'm missing something on this chart because there's a cycle that takes it further back, but I'm on the wrong chart for that. But that was, I don't know again. My point is that it all came down to that the average move for Bitcoin from what I just draw, the bottom of the bear market 1 till the top of bear market 2, like, is a 60x. All right, 60x. That's average, right? So we can definitely calculate something based on that, right? So that's a 60x. Now I want to calculate something else because I haven't prepared that, and I'm just very curious what's that going to be, right? So I want to calculate it from top to top. So stick with me, please, because I'm very curious what that's going to be at. And the top was at high 1150, 1170. Okay, so 1170 up till here, top to top. Fuck. It was a 15x though. Top to top. Well, 16x. Right. And then we had, and I'm still, again, I'm missing a cycle here. But again, top to top. That was a 3x, slightly more than a 3x. But I'm missing a cycle here though. But 15 is, so let's say 10. But the cycle before that was also kind of crazy. So let's say 10, all right? Well, if we do a 10x from that 70K, you know where that's going, right? So, but let's base it on the low, right? So, and we cannot really calculate that yet because we don't know where our low is going to be, right? Because, yeah, is the low in? Is the low not in? We don't know, right? Nobody knows that. Well, also, then we just have to work with chances. So let's say this is the low, 15.5. Right, let's go do some math right here. So let's say the low was, let's say 15,000, right? And I did this before, as you can see. Because what if we do an average move of 60x again? then it put Bitcoin at $900,000. Well, if we do half as good as the average, right? I'm not talking about the best cycles here, right? I'm not talking about that 240x, about that 120x, none of it. Just average. If we do half as bad as average with our current bottom, we will be at $450,000. If we, our worst cycle was a 17x. If that happens, so if this is the bottom and we do just as bad as the worst cycle so far, we will be at $250,000. Now we can go more bearish. What if the bottom will be 10K and we do an average move of 60x? Well, that's $600,000 at a 30x, you know, and so on and so on. And this is a really bearish scenario because this means we first go down all the way to $10,000. All right, so the mega bears are right, and we go all the way down to $10,000. I don't think that's happening though, but you know, I could be wrong. And then we have our worst cycle ever again, which is 17x. Still $170,000, right? That's not bad. That's like not really that bad. Right, and that's just a 3x, not even, from our previous cycle. So that will be the worst cycle from top to top as well, by far. Right, so I don't want to be mega bearish. I think this is way too low. But I also don't want to be like, yeah, if we stay a little real, like even if 10K is the bottom and we do just a 60x, that's $600,000. I think this is even more bearish than bullish though. But I don't want to be too hopeful as well. Although, you know, statistics speak for themselves. But therefore I'm very careful to say that, like I've drawn it here as well, Bitcoin will be at around 200K, at the end of 2025. I know that's a very bold statement, a very clear statement. But this is me saying Bitcoin will be at least $200,000 at the end of 2025. Save this. Cut this out. Remind me of this. I'm very curious to see if I'm going to be right. Probably not. Probably it's going to be higher or lower. It's not going to, like, if it's going to be exact that, okay, great. But that's kind of my expectation in the long term for Bitcoin. And I think it sounds, based on what I just told you, pretty realistic. If you think not, then please let me know why not. But, you know, betting against, like, multiple statistics, and yeah, that's, like, weird if you do that. So, if you believe, like me, that this is definitely something that's possible, then you got to ask yourself, like, okay, why am I not doing more than I'm already doing right now? Like, if Bitcoin goes to 200K and we're now sitting at $16,000, $15,000, 17 maybe, why am I not working my ass off and, you know, at least dollar cost into Bitcoin, let alone good altcoins? Why am I not doing that? You are not doing that because you're not completely sure that this is going to happen, probably, right? If you are sure, like nobody can be sure, but if you feel sure that this is going to happen, then you're doing everything in your power that you make sure that you accumulate here. And yeah, it could be that that you buy right now at 16K and it goes to 13K and you feel like shit in the short term. Of course. But if you zoom it out and take it over the long term, you are sitting at a great buying opportunity. It's like kind of the same. If we have to compare it to the 2018 bear market, it's like, you know, we are here, give or take, right? We are somewhere around here. This is the area I think we are. Not sure that this drop will happen, but you know, if so, like Bitcoin, $5,000. Like, believe me, the people that bought Bitcoin at $5,000, yeah, it was a little painful to see their holdings go down. But in the longer term, do you really think that they regret buying at 5K, knowing that the price was going to $70,000? Of course not. Like, yeah, only if you are not sure. And that's also because, therefore, I want you to know this stuff, and therefore I make these long videos and preach so much about it, because you want to be sure. Because if you are not sure, then there's a chance that you buy right here, right? That you buy at this point, that you see it go down, and you feel like, oh, fuck, that was a mistake, and then you sell it, right? So you all have half of your money left. So let's say you put $1,000 in, this happens, you have $500 left. then you see it going back up again. You feel like, ah, fuck, let me, you know, ape into that with $500. So instead of riding this wave here with $1,000, you could have had like more than $2,000. You ride this wave maybe with $500, which gives you $750. Still profit, but you know, if you want to make the most out of it, then you have to believe, right? So that's kind of my expectation for Bitcoin, to make it a little longer than usual to talk about my price predictions and to give you like more in-depth insights and show you from multiple angles. Also, perspective is needed, right? Like if you look at like, and this indicator is not necessarily a indicator that shows you when to buy. Yeah, it kind of is. Like, not purely because of this one single indicator. Let me put it like that. But if we combine this one as well, and we take a look at the monthly chart, yeah, come on, man, what do you see? I mean, when the stochastic RSI is that low, what chance do you have? Like here, let me remove these drawings for a while because this is getting messed up. Here, like we are here, right? The stochastic RSI is sitting super incredible oversold on the monthly, right? So that's on the longer time frame. You know, it absolutely doesn't mean that we cannot drop 50% in the coming months, right? But longer time frame, bigger picture, heavily oversold. And these things always go back up to reset and then go back down, right? But we had this twice before, right? Let me, here I have a better example on this chart. Let me show you what happened in these other two times that we were that oversold, right? So the first time we were that oversold, we were sitting around here, right? Like this 250. Let's round it up to 250. Where were we when we were in the perfect bar pattern, by the way, pattern? But where were we when we were sitting at the oversold territory? Like, you have to time it correctly, because you can sell it here. Yeah, then you still miss out, like so, because here was the top. So you have to nail that, right? But then again, you have the possibility. You just have to be very good at it. But that's 250. We went to 20K, right, to round it up. So let's say 200K, did I say that? 20K. $20,000 divided by 250. That was an 80x, right? So the first time we were that oversold, and we went from oversold to overbought, we made an 80x. Second time, we were sitting at the lows of, well, $3,300, right? And we went to 69, right? So I can, yeah, that, okay, whatever. That, well, 60, that's around the 20x, of course, but 33, 20x, 21x, but let's say 20x. All right, so this is a 20x. All right. My point is this. We are now sitting here again, right? At the exact levels as where we were back then and back then. You can say more money going into Bitcoin. The cycles are getting more aggressive. The returns are getting smaller. Then again, not the previous cycle, but the cycle before that was the best cycle. And a lot of the first cycles were not necessarily the best. So it's not necessarily the case. So what I would like to do is just like take this average, right? Well, average between this is 50. So will it be that we do a 50x from here? I don't know. All I'm saying, that would be average, right? Also compared, give or take, with the bottom, what I just showed you, to the top of the bear cycles. Right, so if we do that, well, I don't know. I can even fucking show you this right here. Then we'll put Bitcoin around, like I said, 800K or so. It sounds like I'm crazy, and it sounds unrealistic, and it sounds like, Fomotion, what the fuck are you smoking? A lot of good stuff, but you know, it's less realistic, or it's more realistic than people calling this 80x, and it still happened. We had a 240x, we had a 120x. It all happened, right? Which is way more unrealistic than a 50x, but it still all happened. So there is, in that case, no reason for me now to at least say that the 50x isn't realistic. But people don't just see that in the bear market because everything is down. There's bad news, people losing money. It's not, you're not open to hear like that. That's actually maybe possible, right? But yeah, that could definitely happen. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. I just like to show you all these things. Like, yeah, right. Please keep it in mind. So that's basically all I wanted to show you for now. And it's also a matter of the DXY coming down, right? I mean, like, here, this is 2024. And like, if the DXY finally starts to go down and the dust settles also in the crypto space, and the bad exchanges and projects are being flushed out of the market, and the trust is back, things will get better. People learn from this. The good quality projects remain. You learn. It will be okay. So that's my story about Bitcoin. For now, 40 minutes long in this video. If you're still watching, please let me know. Drop a comment like, I'm watching. I want to know. Otherwise, I know that I'm just talking to myself right here. For now, thanks for your attention. Please give the video a like. Let people see that you like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the Fomo Factory. I would love you to have here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.